Alright. I think it should be time here. Yes, it is. Alright, everybody, welcome back. Wow, it's not been that long since last week. Usually there's like 4 days between streaming blocks. I actually did one on Saturday, so it's only been 2 days since the last stream here, but we're back with the Arena All Out series. This series actually hasn't ran for a little bit longer. When was this? I don't think this series went last week, but it might have. 5 days ago, okay. So this series did run semi-recently, but not necessarily completely recently. Anyway, I'm off track here. It's time for event number 3 of the Arena All Out series. Usually arena tours aren't that exciting. This one really has been the most exciting thing yet. I mean, there's been so much action and the points chase has been so close. And I mean, for how small a lot of these spaces are, drivers have been getting some of the craziest saves I've ever seen. There's been some breakage. I mean, there's all sorts of things happening here. So, already on the wrong thing. That's right. It is time to get started with event number 3 in 1 second here. I'm going to do something here so that you stop hearing all those noises. Alright. Alright, we should be good now. Sorry about that. Alright. So, as you know, if you're not new here, or sorry, if you are, as you know if you're not new here, or if you don't know if you are new here, that was great. We start every event with timed racing, then we do skills, then we do freestyle, and then we do an encore, but on the Arena series, we actually have a halftime show. So, yeah, the halftime show is a new addition at event number 2, and I figured I'd want to keep going with that because it was a fun little thing to give the shows a little bit more since they're so much shorter being an arena show. So, the point standings currently coming into this show are Triton Robbins and Krazy in first, Carson Williams in second, Montana Robbins in third, Ashley Sanford in fourth, Tony Ochs in fifth, Krysten Anderson in sixth, Fernando Martinez in 7th, and Cliff Turner and Velociraptor in 8th currently. If you want to know the numbers, check the description. I have all the specifics posted down there. But in any news, sorry, it is time to get underway here. Don't want to do a super long intro because it seems like every time I do a long intro, my software ends up crashing. So we're just gonna get into this event here. As you know, we start with my bad. Very random things happening in the bottom right corner. As you know, we start every event with timed racing, but we don't do it the normal way. This was what I was just, I like to start every stream by saying this. Yes, we start with timed racing. No, it's not normal racing. So, we're going to walk through that right here. Cliff Turner, before doing his real pass, is going to demonstrate what this track looks like, because this is actually different from your normal arena pod. Cliff Turner, here comes a demonstration pass, not a real pass. So you're going to get started here on this side of the track, very specifically that side. You're going to take it up here over this racing lane, okay? Then you're going to take it around here to this other racing lane, like that. Take it tight into this final turn, and you're going to hit this last racing ramp right here, and that's going to be your finish line. So it's a little confusing, but it'll make sense as the competition goes on. Also, that was not the real pass. I just said that, but just in case anyone joined in the middle of that, that was not a real racing pass. That was a demonstration to show how this track will work. So, all that being said, we're just going to get started here with Cliff Turner and Velociraptor kicking off the event. Cliff Turner getting started here, still young into his career. He's just brand new this season for Monster Jam. We can see him trying to navigate this track here, having some trouble. It's definitely pretty tricky. A lot of tight corners and some wide corners, but he's doing a pretty good job with it. And that time for the Velociraptor, a 19.97 for Cliff Turner. Again, that's a 19.97, so that's your first pass of the night. We don't really know what that time means quite yet. What I mean by that is we don't know how that's going to affect him points-wise, but thus far, that's the lead, but thus far, it's also last place. So there's a lot of things that can change here as time goes on. Anyway, we're going to move on to that next competitor. celebrating 25 years of one of the most iconic monster trucks of all time, but a driver who has only been around for less than a fifth of that time frame. Coming up next, one of the best up-and-coming drivers still here on the circuit, Fernando Martinez, El Toro Loco. While I say he's one of the best, but Fernando has really not been getting it done this season. That truck has been giving him a lot of trouble, but other drivers have started adjusting to this new chassis style that he has, so he should start to get the hang of it soon. Looks like he's just trying to feel out that track right now. Because, you know, the dirt can differ from week to week, and he's still trying to feel out that new chassis. So, testing out some corners here, making sure he's got everything dialed in. Every point is going to count. Every turn, I should say, is going to count here. One wrong turn, and your night could be shifted pretty drastically if it messes up your time. He's going to get started here. All right, Fernando Martinez, El Toro Loco, right off the bat, looking much quicker than Cliff Turner. He's going to have to speed up in these next couple turns, though. Cliff Turner struggled with these. Rear steer is locked right now for Fernando. This is huge implications right now. He's trying to adapt, but that locked rear steer has already messed him up too much. And that's rough. I mean, that's just something that he was just at the mercy of the truck right there. It wasn't, he had no control over that rear steer being like that. Unfortunately for Fernando, it's just going to be a story of tough luck to kick off this event. And it's a shame, but sometimes things just aren't going to go the way you want them to go. So that time for the El Toro Loco, a 24.73. He did a good job at still making sure to finish his pass and try to get a good time, but unfortunately those truck problems just did a little too much damage. I'm not sure exactly what triggered that rear steer to break, but we've seen other drivers with that chassis like Dalton Widener struggling with rear steering throughout the season, so it looks like that problem is now spreading as Fernando Martinez also getting caught with some rear steer issues. Coming up next, blonde to the bone, it's Krysten Anderson and the Gravedigger. Alright, so we're going to send her out here. 2 drivers in, 6 to go. So far, not... oh, 1 second. This truck's having some trouble. Alright, so far we have yet to see a good pass, I would say. I mean, maybe Cliff's will end up being good in the grand scheme of things, but he seemed a little bit slow, and Fernando just had those truck problems creeping in. So unfortunately for him, that's going to really hurt him in the points, and he's already doing pretty bad points-wise. We'll see how he can do going on, but Krysten Anderson is going in for her pass right now. She's off to a nice start here. Gonna have to get more speed, though. She's going really wide. That's one thing that I'd say, oh man, she got messed up. That's going to be a 5-second penalty. She hit the wrong ramp. I know this track is really tricky. I've been talking about that. But that's a huge mistake for Krysten, because she would have had a great pass right there had she not hit the wrong jump. So that time was a 19.67, but with that 5-second penalty, that's a 24.67, which isn't as bad as Fernando's time. But that is still going to set her back a lot, because if any driver who has a good pass from here on out is probably going to be sub 20, seeing as Cliff Turner was sub 20, and Krysten's lack of ability to achieve that time is going to come back to bite her in the points later on. So rough luck there for Krysten Anderson. Now coming up next, he almost had the first overall event championship of the year, but he's really been struggling points-wise, so we'll see if he can make a comeback tonight. Tony Ochs and the Earthshaker. Tony has the opportunity to finally show us a good pass on this track after a lot of drivers have just been struggling to adapt to the new track style, find their pace, or just keep the truck in one piece. Right now, though, Cliff Turner is getting a huge amount of points because all the drivers coming up after him are just not quite getting it done. Tony Ochs and the Earthshaker could be the first to do so, though. We'll see what he can do here. Right off the bat, I'm not too sure what's going on. He's looking a little bit crossed up, but he did a good job adapting. Now he's got one more turn here. If he can ace this, this could be a great time for the Earthshaker. He is going to ace it, and that time for Tony Ochs is a 18.28. So your new leader in timed racing is Tony Ochs, again, an 18.28. Although I wouldn't necessarily say that's a super fast time either. Being in the lead is already going to secure him a good few points, which he needs, because he's placed last in a few competitions this year, and that's what has really dragged him down in points into the bottom 4. Actually, there's only one Fell driver in the top 4, and she's coming up next to the track. Please welcome Ashley, Sanford, and Megalodon. Ashley's been having the best season of her career so far this year, but thing is, we're only 2 events in, which for an arena series is not that much at all. Really, any point standings that you see right now probably don't mean that much, except Triton Robbins, because he's almost 2 overalls in a row. But he was 1 point out from the overall in this last show. So Triton Robbins is really the only driver to confidently look out for, as well as Cliff Turner just struggling to really get too much done this year. Now Ashley Sanford's coming out here in the Megalodon. She seems to be doing a good job with this new track style. Now this track probably won't return the rest of the year, but it is cool to have it here in Manchester. And your new leader in timed racing is gonna be Ashley Sanford. So she very quickly is going to adapt based on what she saw from Tony Ochs compared to other competitors. Her time is a 17.88. And she is very quickly going to be able to grab that top spot. I'm using Microsoft Word to document the times, and I'm just using a stopwatch to get the time. So nothing too complex going on here, just doing what works while still keeping it fair for the competitors. This system has worked for the past 2 years or so, so I stick with it. Coming up next, your previous overall event champion looking to climb up in the point standings, Montana Robbins, playing Krazy. So Montana looking competitive this year. He's sitting in 3rd place right now and coming off an overall event win. He is one of those drivers to look out for. And he could ride that wave right now with a good racing pass. Playing Krazy gets started here. I'm loving the way that truck is cornering. It looks very smooth in those turns. Gotta be careful. Oh yeah, that truck has been really bouncy all year, and it's going to come back to bite Montana right there. Although he's not going to roll it, that was a big pause in his pass. Actually, it's not going to be too bad of a time. Oh man, watch out turning pole. That time for Playing Krazy, an 18.41. It's going to put him in 3rd place right now. Not the best place, but it's not the worst time either. And for almost rolling over and having to take a big pause in that run, I wouldn't really say that's too bad for Montana. He's securing at least 4 points coming out of this competition, so at the very least, he will be benefited in the series standings from this, and that's if these next 2 drivers do really good. If they do worse than Montana, then Montana's going to get 5 or 6 points. So Montana's not doing bad at all right now. Hold on. Something weird happened there. Just making sure the stream is still all good. Looks like it is. So Carson Williams and the ThunderROARus is up next. Carson was tied for the 1st overall win of the year. Didn't get it. Triton would be the one that would be called the winner because he had a bigger freestyle run. Carson Williams looks to get some revenge. Carson Williams did just win racing in Sacramento off the BeamNG circuit, so evidently he is fast this year. Let's see if he can carry that onto BeamNG, though. All the way here in Manchester, across the country, he cannot. He is going to go spin out big time. It looks like he made the same mistake as Krysten. He was going for that inner ramp instead of the outer one, and by the time he tried to correct himself, it was kind of too late. So that time for the ThunderROARus, a 23.53, that's not going to be great for him. That's going to put him in 5th place right now, which is really going to hurt him in the points after he has been sitting 2nd all season long up to this point. Alright, well, coming up last here in racing, he is your season points leader and the first overall event championship winner of the year. Now he is looking to make that 2 overall event championships and continue his lead on the series. Please welcome Triton Robbins and the Krazy train. Come on, ride the train, because it is on. Next station, Manchester, New Hampshire, with Triton Robbins here. This is a big floor for an arena. That's something I want to note here. This is way bigger than some of the arenas we'll see later, like Albuquerque and Sacramento. So these drivers have to take advantage of the fact that they have more space now, and keep in mind that they won't have this much space all year, so that they can try to strategize as the season goes on. This is just about the biggest venue we'll see all season for this tour, except for Nashville, which already happened. So these drivers all got to take that into consideration here. Triton Robbins, he's off to a great racing pass right now. He's looking to grab that overall win, defend his series lead, and a pass like that is going to do it, because Krazy Train's time, a 16.87. Your racing winner is your season points leader, Triton Robbins, and the Krazy Train, getting 8 more points on the season. That's exactly what he needed, throwing out some victory donuts. You know what? He can do whatever he wants right now, because we're not going to be seeing him for quite a minute. He's going to be closing out the next competition because he's kicking off the night with a win. Huge, huge win there for Triton Robbins. Those 8 points are only going to expand his lead in the series more and more. So, very nicely done by Triton. With that being said, Ashley will not get a win here. That's going to put her into 2nd place. I believe she is still yet to get a win this year. Like I was saying, Montana still had the opportunity to get some good points, and he did. He would end up with 5 points. And Cliff Turner would get one of the biggest sums of points of a series yet, as he would get 4 points. Now I'm going to add up all these points here to see where these drivers are going to stand. Let's see, Cliff Turner's now up to 17 points. Fernando goes up to 21. He's still struggling. Montana Robbins goes up to 35. Ashley Sanford goes up to 34, so she's staying competitive. Krysten Anderson only going to be 24 right now. Tony Ochs up to 31. Carson Williams at 36. And Triton Robbins all the way at 44, which means Triton currently has an 8-point lead on the series over Carson Williams and the ThunderROARus. So, this is now getting interesting to watch. Triton is only going to keep getting stronger and stronger as the year goes on, at the rate he's going now. With all that being said, it's time to move into the next competition, and the first scored competition of the night. So I'm going to put a quick note in chat here. Alright, so fan scoring will be open here as we head into the first scored competition of the night, the skills competition. So the order here in skills is going to be based on how drivers did in timed racing. So the faster they were, the later out they'll go in the competition, which will be interesting. We're going to be seeing some drivers who we wouldn't expect to see at the start go first, and we wouldn't expect to see at the end go last. But with all that being said, there's really nothing else to say here except let's get it started. Drivers will have 2 hits to do 2 two-wheel maneuvers. Let's see what they can do. Starting off, Fernando Martinez, El Toro Loco. So I guess Fernando got that bug figured out that was dragging him down in racing. Is it too late, though? I mean, he's already lost 7 potential points on the event. Those are points that are going to be near impossible to make up, because now the highest number of points Fernando can get is 17, which has not been enough for the overall win at previous events this season. So let's see what Fernando can do here, trying to make up some good points. I'm going to turn up Fernando's truck specifically really quick, because these trucks are really quiet. Alright. Yeah, he'd have to be like all the way up here. Yeah, alright, that'll do it. Alright, coming up, Fernando Martinez, El Toro Loco. Hopefully I remember to turn that down, or the next trucks are going to be very, very loud. Let's see what he can do. 2 moves, don't forget. Goes in for that first maneuver. Starts to lose it. Does a good job to get it back, though. Now you got to be careful when you start nearing the wall. You got to get your pace slowed down. Fernando doing a good job with that. Walking it into reverse. Love to see it. Crushing in that hood. He said, you gave us a new hood. Who cares? We're going to destroy this one, too. Isn't that what it's all about at Monster Jam, though? Wouldn't be Monster Jam without some good destruction. Now, Fernando trying to keep this balance, but he's having a hard time finding that balancing point. Not that this hasn't been a good move. That truck has just looked really bouncy. It looks like he's having to put a lot of throttle into this move compared to what you'd maybe want to give for a moonwalk. But he's doing a great job at keeping this truck balanced. Goes in for a combination. Overdoes it. This might cost him here. He's gonna pull off a great save. I thought he was done, but it looks like there was just enough traction for that truck to be able to pull itself back around. He's got one more move to go. That body is on its last legs right now, but you know what? That just shows that he has been driving at a high level. And he really needs to do good here in skills to make up for his racing, so let's see what he can do here for hit number 2. Already coming off of a spectacular save. Too much momentum there. You got to be careful with that. You go into the wall, you're done, and you're getting some points docked. So, things that Fernando needs to keep in mind here. Alright, he's doing a good job with the shifting, though, making sure that that truck is in the right gear at all times. And there is exactly what I said would happen. Unfortunately for Fernando, he loses control, goes into the wall. So that's not only going to hurt him there because he didn't land a move, well, it's also going to cost him some points because he hit the wall. So that's rough for Fernando Martinez. You know, he's really been having a bad year, and he might end up dropping below Cliff Turner if he keeps having luck like that. So get those scores locked in. Sorry, I know Gravedigger's really loud right there. Get those scores locked in for El Toro Loco if there are any. Otherwise, this will be for the experts. Alright, not seeing any fan scores here. So that score for the El Toro Loco is... it's an 8.981. 8.981. Kicks off the competition. A good score, but he's already losing 5 points. So no matter what he gets in this competition, he's really going to still suffer in the points chase. So he's got to work on that as this event goes on. But coming up next, Krysten Anderson, Gravedigger. Krysten has really been putting in the work in this competition, getting better and better as this season has gone on. Let's see if she can show that off tonight. She really needs to start picking up her pace here because she's doing really bad in the points, and getting second to last in racing is certainly not going to be helping that. Tries to get technical here. She couldn't do it. Let's hear it for Krysten Anderson. So I don't know what really went wrong there. That truck was kind of just flailing all over the place. It looked like she had a couple of good attempts to save. Maybe even could have saved it there at the end, but she just didn't go for it. So a tough break there for the Gravedigger. A good attempt for Krysten, but it's only going to be one hit. And it's not going to be a successful one. Both things that are really going to be harsh when it comes to scoring. So if there's any fan scores, get those in now. Alright, keep in mind that score to be El Toro Loco 8.981. And your score for Krysten Anderson, Gravedigger, is... it's a 4.013. Not enough for that top spot. Coming up next, sitting second in the series points chase, looking to make it number 1, Carson Williams, ThunderROARus. Man, Carson has been having the year of his life. Really, I want to say it's his first full season here in Monster Jam. And he's sitting pretty confidently right now in that second place position. So we'll see if he can keep that going. Right off the bat, we're seeing something weird here with this setup for Carson. He's actually eyeing the side of the pod. We haven't seen any drivers do this yet this year. This might be one of those moves that ends up being high risk, high reward for Carson. If it goes well, it'll get him some good points. If it doesn't, it's going to hurt him in his points chase. Pops it up, and it works perfectly. So Carson Williams, high risk, high reward. Looks like it's going to be high reward today. Doing something a little innovative, a little different. And it's going to work out. He's taking it all the way across the pod. Down the pod, tries to take it back up the pod. He does it, and pulls off a little save at the end too. So Carson Williams, a great first hit to get things started here. Perfect display of balance. He's got one more move to go now. Keep in mind that score to beat is El Toro Loco with an 8.981. Carson Williams trying to beat that score. Let's see what he goes for here, eyeing that ramp. A little quick on the setup, and it almost costed him, but he's going to recover nicely. Look at this. This is something Carson's getting way better at. He's walked it up onto the pod. He has really been improving his skills game this season. He's been improving his everything game this season. Skills is definitely one of those things, though. And a great save for the ThunderROARus. Carson Williams showcasing spatial awareness, talent, and skill all in one move. That was great. Two very nice, very solid, very successful hits by the ThunderROARus. That's what we've been needing to see tonight. Carson Williams finds his flow and shows all these drivers what this competition is all about. Alright. It's time to see the scores. Fans' scores are coming in for that run. Fans give it an 8.1. Oh, I don't know what happened right there. What is happening? Okay. Fans give it an 8.1. Experts give it a 9. So a bit of a discrepancy there. That score for the ThunderROARus, an 8.550. Currently enough for second place for Carson Williams, ThunderROARus. Coming up next, please welcome Cliff Turner, Velociraptor. Cliff Turner still in his rookie season. Still has a lot to learn. Let's see what he can go for tonight, though. Some drivers have had a great night. Some drivers have not. So Cliff Turner has an interesting bar to follow up here. Let's see what he goes for. This is the move that took out Krysten Anderson earlier. So Cliff Turner getting bold here in his rookie season, trying to do something risky. Well, it's not quite going to work out. We're going to have to get an official call later if that's going to be a 5-point deduction or not, because he did hit that wall a little bit. But that's a question for a little bit later. And maybe we'll give some fan interpretation for that too. Will that be a 5-point deduction? Fans, let your thoughts be known as well. Cliff Turner not going to find success on that move, so he's going to go in for a sky wheelie. It's going to be a very interesting sky wheelie at that. Kicked him really sideways. And that's going to do it for Cliff Turner. 2 hits, nothing too crazy. More successful at that. It was 2 hits, went out there, did it. Might get a good score. Might get a decent score, I should say. And we'll see how that goes for him. So get those scores in for the Velociraptor. So far, we have seen some great things from all these competitors, but a lot of drivers are just not finding the success they need. Cliff Turner demonstrates that with that first attempt that just really didn't have much going to it. I mean, it was cool, but it's probably going to cost him more than he's going to benefit from it. So alright, last chance to get those scores locked in the chat. Looks like not seeing any scores here. Alright. So that score for the Velociraptor is... Cliff Turner is going to get a 5.021. And it is official. That is going to be a 5-point penalty on the Velociraptor for backing it up into the wall. So, gotta be cautious here. That's a note to these next drivers. We've already seen 2 drivers in this competition get that same penalty. So now they know they gotta start being a little more careful. Alright, coming up next. We're halfway through, by the way. Your previous overall event champion, Montana Robbins, playing Krazy. Huh. Montana's not... There we go. I was going to say, that truck's not firing there. It looks like it is going to fire up for him now. So Montana, very good in this competition. He gets the truck balanced, but he also can get it comboed. So he can really do anything he puts his mind to. And with 5 points to his name in the show already, he's got to do something good, because he really could get an overall win once again. And the more overalls he can get, the closer he'll be to a series championship, which his brother is currently leading by a pretty large margin. So a good start here for Montana, showing off some great technical ability, something he's no stranger to. This is really a star competition, I would have to say. I mean, the Tritons have always, the Robins have always been dark horses in racing, but their technical moves are on another level. Montana is going to demonstrate that with a nice combination. So it looks like that combo was done a few times, but actually it turned into a bicycle, which was still only on 2 wheels. It was not on 4 tires when he went into that wheelie. So that was a nice kind of 4-part maneuver there for Montana. That's what we need to see. He's got one more hit to go. One more move for the Plain Krazy fans. Keep in mind, you will have the opportunity to score these runs. Montana's on those side 2 tires. Goes in for the bicycle from one side to the other. And a spectacular move for the Plain Krazy. Montana Robbins showing off why he is one of the best in the business right now. Everyone loves those crazy trucks, and that is exactly why Montana putting on full display the talent of not only himself, but his family. So very nicely done by the Plain Krazy. That body did not touch the ground once. He kept that truck on 2 wheels and both of those maneuvers the entire time, except for when it got onto only 1 wheel. Very good job balancing that truck and making sure it stayed controlled and on all 4s. Alright, one more chance to get scores in. Not seeing any fans' scores for that one. So the score for Montana Robbins, Plain Krazy, is... It's a 9.285. Your new leader is Montana Robbins. Well, there are only 3 drivers left to go, and they all certainly have their work cut out for them, because Montana just put down a spectacular run and is already on track to get that next overall event win that he's looking for. But we'll see if that can happen, because this next driver is very good in this competition. It's Tony Ochs and the Earthshaker. Tony's been having a rough season. I know that's going to push him to drive even harder. He's already starting off with some good points from racing, though, so he just needs to find a way to ride that wave, keep that momentum going, and he's getting a great combo here. That's a good way to do that. So right off the bat, Tony Ochs, he's got to be careful, though. Oh, wow. Spectacular truck awareness from the Earthshaker. He knew at some point that truck was just gonna have to roll. He let it happen, threw it into reverse, as he knew those rear tires would be able to grab there, and pulls off one of the coolest saves of the season. One more move to go. He's on track to knock out Montana right now, though, if this second hit's successful. And it is definitely looking like it will be so far. Throws it into reverse. Nice combo. Alright, back onto those front two tires. So he's showing off both aspects there on the front and on the rear. Let's see what else he can do. He's going to walk it perfectly back up onto the pod. That's what you want to see. No driver has done this quite yet. Carson Williams got close, but it wasn't quite this clean. This is picture perfect right now for Tony Ochs. If he can keep this up, Montana is not going to be winning this competition, that's for sure. He goes in for the nose pick, overcooks it, but that truck is going to be able to stabilize once again. One wheel. Wow. What a maneuver and what a run for Tony Ochs. Great spatial awareness on both hits to ensure that he didn't hit the walls. That first hit, he almost rolled straight into it, but he knew when to hit the brakes and let the truck roll. And that's exactly what he did. And on that second hit, he was on one wheel right next to the wall. Somehow avoided it. I don't know how. That was great driving from Tony Ochs. And if I'm going to be honest here, if I'm Montana Robbins, I'm not too happy watching that run. It'd be hard not to be excited because that was awesome, but this might dethrone Plain Crazy. Keep in mind that score to beat, 9.285. And that score for Tony Ochs, Earthshaker, is a 9.691. Your new leader is Tony Ochs and the Earthshaker. Only two competitors remain here in the two-wheel skills competition. Coming up next, Ashley Sanford, Megalodon. Well, this is interesting for Ashley. This isn't quite her competition, and the bar has been set, I mean, in the stratosphere, so I'm not too sure what she's really going to be able to do here. She's got two hits to try and make something happen, but the runs so far have been so insane and the scores so high that it's going to be very difficult for Ashley Sanford. Let's see what she goes for here. Looks like she wasn't liking that first setup, so she's going to change it up here. Maybe going for a moonwalk or nose wheelie. Oh, no, she's not? I can't tell. Oh, she's going to go in for a wheelie. Okay. Goes in for that wheelie. Tries to combo it. Nicely done by Ashley Sanford. Like I was just saying here, not her competition, but she made it look like it tonight. So that was pretty cool. We still got one more move left. That body falling to pieces right now. And she's just going to say goodbye to that hood. Let's see what she can do here. One more hit to go. A huge wheelie. Oh, that is more than a wheelie. That whole Megalodon body just came off. That was a tough cage hit as well for Ashley Sanford. So that is not what you want to see. Unfortunate for her, but still two pretty cool moves, all things considered. That score to beat is a 9.691 for Tony Ochs and the Earthshaker. And that score for Ashley Sanford, Megalodon, is a 7.129. It's not going to be enough for that top spot. On that note, there's only one driver remaining. Your season points leader, your racing winner. Can he go 2 for 2 on the day? Please welcome Triton Robbins, Krazy Train. So Triton is really riding a wave this year. I mean, he is doing such a great job, but now the difficulty is Tony Ochs has one of the biggest scores of the entire year on the board. What can Triton really do to top that? I mean, he can be consistent and get a score like Montana, but that's not going to be enough to defend his series lead. So let's see what he can go for here. All right. Gets technical right off the bat. I mean, that's kind of what this competition is for, so I'm not sure what I'm saying here. Great balance, though. That's what we should expect to see for this Monster Jam truck. the Krazy train. Alright, goes in for the combination, walks it down the pod. Perfect maneuver here. Back onto the front two. Yes, he is. This is great stuff for Triton Robbins here. This is what he needs to defend the lead he's gotten. And the thing is, so many other drivers are getting too many last places and penalties to be able to catch up to him. He's just making sure to stay consistent and follow the rules, and that's what's doing it for the Krazy train. It's not necessarily the biggest, craziest moves. Its consistency is key. Making sure not to get those penalties or get those last places. Look at this. This is great. This move has already been over a minute, I'm going to guess, and he's still just going for it. That was awesome for Triton Robbins. All that was only one maneuver. He still has another hit left to go. So even if he's not able to take the lead, I would not doubt seeing a second place spot for him if the second move can be as good as the first. It doesn't even have to be as good as the first. Just a solid second move here could be enough for Triton to get some huge points on the board. And a good step towards another overall. Look at this. Taking advantage of every single inch of that floor space. I love when drivers do that. And when there's a good room out there on the track, I mean, why not? Oh, losing the hood. But not losing the balance. So, great work for Triton. Not letting things like that distract him. Puts it onto the rear two tires. Careful up the pod, careful up the pod. Nice. Tries to get one more combo out of it. He's still going right now. What is happening for the Krazy train? We're going to need to see a big save right here. What a great run overall from Triton Robbins and the Krazy train. I mean, that was just spectacular right there. Two moves that I don't have a single critique for. He had perfect control and balance. He had that ragged edge kind of factor between that one wheel move at the end and then that sidewall save. That was awesome. But is it going to be enough to top how awesome Tony Ochs' run was? Well, I don't know. Score to beat is a 9.691 for the Earthshaker. That score, Triton Robbins and the Krazy train, is... It's a 9.518. Enough for second place. Not going to get him the win, which means Tony Ochs is going to pick up his first win of the night. And he is getting some big points right now, which is going to be very important for him in the series chase. However, Triton Robbins is staying extremely consistent. Nothing is stopping him right now. And that's what's going to really be what keeps him afloat in that top spot this whole season. He's just not letting anything slow him down. So Triton Robbins now sits at 51 points on the season. I don't think any other driver could pass him tonight, that means. Montana Robbins is 41 points. Carson Williams is 40 points. So no driver is currently capable of passing Triton Robbins. He has made himself untouchable for the rest of this event. So Triton Robbins doing an excellent job so far. We're going to head to halftime here. So we're going to take about a 1 or 2 minute break. Then do our halftime show. Then get into freestyle. So, don't go anywhere, fans. Still just getting started. Alright fans, like I said, very brief pause. I'm back, ready to go here. So, sorry, adjusting one or two things here. So, where do we leave off here? Skills just ended. Triton Robbins is currently leading the overall point standings for the event and the season. So he has 15 points so far tonight. He is untouchable. No driver can pass him in points by the end of this event. Tony Ochs and the Earthshaker has 14 points currently though, so he is still very much in the runnings for an overall event championship. Currently sitting in third in the overall is ThunderROARus. Robbins. He has 11 points, which with a driver with 15 probably won't be the overall win, but you never know how freestyle will go. So, we're almost to freestyle, but first, a new thing here to the series from the last event, halftime. So we're going to send out 4 different crazy vehicles out there, almost like tough truck style, and they're going to go put down some killer off-road exhibition freestyles. This happened in the last show, it went great, and I am so thrilled to be doing it again. So, please welcome the halftime team. And here is your first runner. Alright, let's see what this thing can do. Now, this is not really made necessarily for this type of thing, but it's put down some sick runs here before. So let's see what happens. So far, nothing crazy yet. I mean, like I was just saying, though, this isn't exactly the one that won last time. Good air and a nice downside, so that's a good way to get some entertainment out for the fans. Oh, man! That's why I have the halftime team. These things will go out there and do the craziest moves like that. And it is so entertaining. Just to give a little bit more to the show. That was awesome. Gotta be careful here. Now, this has been a great exhibition. Way better than the last time this thing was out there on the track. Keep in mind, still 3 more exhibition runs to go before Monster Jam Freestyle. This is super exciting stuff. That sounds really sarcastic, but I really, for me, it's not. I mean, I love seeing these things out there on the track. Save it, save it. Oh, there's no saving that. Front wheel drive does not exist on this vehicle. So that's going to do it for your first halftime performer of the event. 3 more to go. Like I said, super fun to watch these things out here on the track. I mean, there's crazy rollovers and saves just like we saw from just that very first run. So, great start. 3 more to go. Coming up next, this is a trophy truck. A little bigger than what you'd usually want to see in a venue like this, but if it's not as big as a monster truck, it'll fit just fine. Good air kicks things off. Now, last time, this thing did a crazy front flip, I believe. So, let's see if that happens here again. Nice air so far. And this thing's already... I think this is just because at its core, it's higher power than that previous vehicle. But this thing's already airing it out much better. Better momentum in these turns. A great run so far. Oh, no. Okay, nice control there. Cool, calm, and collected won the race that time. Oh, man. A great sky wheelie. This thing's holding up so well. Not even a scratch on the body yet. That's what you love to see. This might do it. Alright, that's going to hurt that front end a little bit. It's going to make this thing harder to control, but still going like nothing ever happened. Now we're starting to see some of that control issue coming through. That thing doesn't want to turn. Alright, let's see here. Is he eyeing the Morgan & Morgan backflip ramp? Yet to attempt it this season. And that is exactly why. Going for the save. There's no save to be found here. that is going to do it for... Whoops, my apologies. That's going to do it for halftime performance number 2. 2 more to go. Coming up next, this is a fun one to watch because the suspension on this mirrors a monster truck really well. And listen to that engine. I mean, this thing is great. Let's see what it can do. Immediately going in for one of those monster truck technical moves. And now tackling some ramps. So, like I was just saying, this thing's super fun to watch because it performs just like a monster truck would, except smaller and more chaotic and less controlled, which is only going to make it more exciting for this halftime show. This is awesome so far. Oh, no way, it's already Morgan and Morgan backflip time. Nails the backflip. So last week, we saw one of the halftime performers, I can't recall which one, go for that backflip. It didn't work out on the first hit, so they had to go out and give it a second attempt. Well, this time it gets nailed on the first try. So if this halftime performance is setting a tone for Monster Jam Freestyle, it's going to be spectacular. Oh, man. Wow. That's what I'm saying with this thing. It is so chaotic and fun to watch. Great example of that right there. Big air. Keeps it going here. Oh, man. That's going to do it. A great performance. One more to go here in halftime, and I know it's going to be the show you all came here for. I know halftime can drag on a little bit, but it's just so fun to watch what these things can do because they're so different but so similar to monster trucks at the exact same time. And then you note, though, that does mean it is time for that last halftime performer. But this thing, I said the last one can be like a monster truck. Well, this one especially can be so controlled in its movements. Let's see what can happen here. It looks like on the top of the pod. Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about right here. Nose wheelie action. That was awesome. Demonstrating that you don't need a monster truck to be cool and technical. Oh, look at that. A wheelie. A power wheelie almost. That was sick. That's why I love having these halftime things. You'll see super unique stuff like that you could expect a monster truck to do, but that you rarely see. But these guys will come out here and do it all. Oh, that's going to be a rough landing. Never mind. It's going to be a big wheelie. It's just going to lead into a smooth downside. Oh, certainly not. We wouldn't see 2 Morgan and Morgan backflip attempts in a row. And it's perfect. It's crazy what happens in these halftime performances. They're so fun to... No way. Again? Nails it twice in a row. This is spectacular stuff. That hood is starting to cave in finally. Oh, man. It almost looks like a corkscrew attempt right there. That's going to kick it right onto the lid. That's going to do it for Monster Jam halftime. It was cool. I don't know. I mean, maybe I need to get some fan feedback on if I should keep doing that or not. I think it's pretty cool to watch, but maybe that's just me from my perspective. In any case, it's time for the last monster truck competition of the night. And the one that I know you fans all came here for. Alright, my apologies there. I had to check a few things in the point standings to see how the order here for freestyle will go. Because the order in freestyle, if you're new here, is based on series point standings, not anything else. So, timed racing is based on point standings before the event, then skills is based on point standings after timed racing. Sorry, then skills is based on timed racing placements, then freestyle is based on series standings after those first two competitions. So it's a little confusing, but it makes sense also. It's confusing, but sensible at the same time. In any case, though, gotta flip through a few things here. It is now time for the competition I know you fans all came here for. Monster Jam Freestyle. These drivers will all burn it down with 75 seconds. Try to get the best moves they can. All these drivers had a good run in the last show, I'll say that. Even Cliff Turner had an awesome wow moment. Let's see if they can all ride that wave. Coming up first, Velociraptor. Alright, Cliff Turner kicks off freestyle here tonight. One second here. Alright, we're not going to start that run quite yet. Got to adjust one thing. Make sure the competition is nice and fair here in freestyle. Alright, coming up, it's going to be Cliff Turner, Velociraptor. Sometimes you just got to do a quick check like that. Make sure everything's okay. Cliff Turner's getting started with a little bit of a sideways hit. So that was pretty cool, giving us something a little bit different. Now, one thing I'm noticing right off the bat with this freestyle run is these ramps are steep. That's going to bring in some great wow moments here in freestyle. A hard hit there for the Velociraptor, but it looks like he's going to keep things going here. Oh, look, there's a nice little log out there. That would have been good to have in skills. Cliff Turner kicks off freestyle. Good air so far. Okay momentum. I'd like to see a little bit more. Alright, trying to get technical here. One of those moves he's been picking up on this season in his rookie season in his career. Oh yeah, these ramps are giving huge air without even hitting them with that much speed. I'm excited to see what drivers full sending it are going to be doing tonight. If this is just what Cliff Turner's doing so far. And that's not to say he's a bad driver, but it is his rookie season. He's not going to be driving as hard as the rest of the field. So when these more experienced drivers start to come out, I'm going to be pumped to see what their runs look like. Cliff Turner is setting the bar here in freestyle. His time has expired, and his truck nearly rolling over. He's going to keep it on all fours. That's going to do it for the first run of the night. Cliff Turner and the Velociraptor. Like said, that is setting the bar. There's no score to beat for that run. He is the first driver up, first driver out. And he had a pretty good run right there. So, Cliff Turner, he did a good job of staying consistent. Not big or particularly crazy, but nice and consistent. That's what we need to see. Score to beat does not exist again. This is set in the bar, and that score for the Velociraptor is... it's a 5.711. 5.711 sets the bar in freestyle. That's, I think, maybe the lowest freestyle score we've seen yet this year, but you know what? You can't win them all. Cliff Turner did a good job at least filling a good amount of time, filling all the time actually, and making sure to get a good amount of action in the run. Coming up next, the black and green wrecking machine, Krysten Anderson, Gravedigger. Now, Krysten's got some work to do. She is really suffering in points right now in this event. So she's got to have a good run, or that's going to keep dropping down lower for her. I will say she's pretty strong in this competition in arenas, so we'll see what she can do. Huge air. This is what I was saying during Cliff Turner's run. These ramps are so steep. When a driver who's a little bit more confident comes out and hits these, I was super excited to see how high they'd go. And I'm being proved correct right now. Krysten Anderson is flying in Manchester, New Hampshire. That's what you'll love to see. Huge elevation. So Look at that. Taking advantage of the whole floor space, too. That's what it's all about. In these bigger arenas, look at the air. Alright, she's got about half the time left. Looks like she's eyeing the Morgan & Morgan backflip ramp. First driver to hit it tonight. Under rotates, but she lands it. What else can she do? Oh, man, getting a little bit of a save up there on the pod. Goes for a reverse popper. So nice. She's trying to make sure that every situation she gets in here, she can do something with it. More good air for the Gravedigger. Yet to see anything too crazy in this run. Goes in for one more send. That is the something crazy I was just talking about. Krysten Anderson. That was awesome. So sometimes here in these arenas, you know, as long as you're doing it safely and not towards the crowd, sometimes you just got to get a little bit sideways on one hit. And that's the thing that'll get you your winning move. Now, Krysten is only second up out of 8 drivers, so it's hard to say if that's going to be a winning move, but it's definitely the right direction there for the Gravedigger. So, nice run for Krysten Anderson. I don't really have much critiques there. I mean, she filled the clock. She had a wow moment, perfect backflip, some technical moves. All in all, a great run. I don't really know what else to say. Score to beat is only a 5.7. 1-1. We'll see that score for Gravedigger shortly. I have a feeling it's going to be a little bit higher than that. Alright, we're now preparing for that next competitor as well. A driver with a lot to prove right now. Alright, score to beat 5.711. Cliff Turner Velociraptor. The score for Gravedigger is for 9.185, Krysten Anderson, your new leader. Coming up next, please welcome Fernando Martinez, El Toro Loco. Now, Fernando's been a talking point all season long because of his truck struggles that he's been having. And, I mean, that really was shown off right off the bat in this show with those rear steer troubles in racing of all competitions. So, Fernando evidently still struggling with that new chassis. Let's see what he can do here. I am noticing he did just hit a straightaway. You don't really want to do that in arenas. It kills your flow a little bit, but he's quickly adapting, back in business. Good air for the El Toro Loco. And those troubles are back once again for Fernando Martinez. He has no rear steer right now. I'm hearing, oh no! He's trying to save it, but there is just no way it's happening. Let's hear it for Fernando Martinez. So it's hard to say exactly what happened on that last hit. I think it definitely had something to do with his lack of rear steer control, though. I think he wanted to hit that ramp at a different angle for sure, but just couldn't do so, and that was going to cost him. So Fernando just can't catch a break this year. Truck problems, rollovers, they keep happening, and he is just plagued right now. He's really falling behind in the points, and I just gotta say, based on where he is in points right now, I don't think this is Fernando's year. But we'll see how things go. We still got 5 more months left before that World Finals lineup is set in stone. Alright, score to beat 9.185 for the Gravedigger. Your score for El Toro Loco is... my apologies. That score for Fernando Martinez El Toro Loco is a 6.194, currently enough for second place. Alright, well, we've seen some drivers have some great freestyle. Specifically, we've seen one driver have a really great run. That was Krysten Anderson. Everyone else has been having a little bit of a rough time making things happen. So I'd like to see that pick up a little bit throughout this show. This series has been doing really well so far, but this event has not been living up to that. So let's see if that changes as the show goes on. Coming up next, Ashley Sanford, Megalodon. Ashley's been having one of her better events of the year tonight, and she's starting off with some good air to show that off. So, right off the bat, a great run going for the Megalodon. Ashley loves that big air. If anything, Tacoma this year really proving that. So, oh no. Gotta be careful, Ashley. Oh, man. Let's hear it for Ashley Sanford, Megalodon. The bad luck for these drivers is going to continue. Unfortunately, that's going to be your first no score. No, sorry, she did fill 15 seconds. I was wrong. She is going to qualify for a score very narrowly. But man, these drivers just can't catch a break, and it's tough because these shows have been so entertaining and exciting, and the competition was so close. But now it's really starting to become a story of Triton Robbins versus the world, and I mean, I love it. I love that for Triton, but these other drivers really got to figure out what they're doing. That score for the Megalodon is only going to be a 3.681. It's not going to be the top spot. Well, we're halfway into freestyle, halfway to go. So far, only one noteworthy run, which is really odd. We'll see if that can change, though. Coming up next, Tony Ochs, Earthshaker. Tony Ochs, the fell driver to watch on the series. There's a reason he's coming out here late in freestyle. Looks like they got that fiberglass repair. Just the hood came off. They said, well, let's slap a new hood back on. And that's exactly what they did. Tony Ochs looking nice and fresh here in freestyle. And let's see what he can do. He's got 75 seconds to try to make as many points as he can. Big air kicks off the run. So right off the bat, Tony Ochs and the Earthshaker not holding back. That's what you got to see here. Giving us some cross-threading action. As much as you can cross-thread an arena pod, he's doing it. So Tony Ochs, he's looking to get another freestyle win. He got the first freestyle win of the season. Right off the bat, he's starting to get really risky, but that's kind of what he needs to do to find those wow moments. Those wow moments have been what are really selling this tour up to this point. Tony Ochs looking for some of those moments himself. Morgan and Morgan backflip. That's going to be a nice wow moment. So that's something Tony Ochs and the Earthshaker needs to look for. He's got about 30 seconds left, though, and right now he's kind of in a pickle. He can't do too much in this position. All right, 20 seconds. He's got to make something happen here if he wants to try and top Krysten Anderson. Cool move. Oh, let's hear it for the Earthshaker. Tony Ochs, it looks like he was really trying to force that truck into a tricky situation to try and get a wow moment. Unfortunately, though, he's just going to end up breaking that 4-link bar and leaving 13 seconds unfilled. All in all, it was a great run for the Earthshaker, all things considered, but I think there could have been more than that, especially with that time being left on the clock, and I just don't think that's how we wanted to end off the run anyway. Score to be is a 9.185 for the Gravedigger. Your score for the Earthshaker is an 8.619, enough for second place. 3 more runs to go. Coming up, independent rising star, Carson Williams, ThunderROARus. Carson had been sitting second place all year long coming into this show. Gets knocked down to third by 1 point by Montana Robbins. So now it's kind of a quest for Carson Williams to try and make his way back into that second place spot. Let's see what he can do here in freestyle. Goes in for a technical move on that log. Nice. All right, Carson giving us something we haven't really seen yet in this competition. All right, let's see what he goes for here now. He's got a good amount of time to try to make something happen. We have yet to see a super crazy wow moment. I mean, in this competition specifically, Krysten Anderson's move was cool, but we've seen crazier from this series this year. So let's see what Carson Williams and the ThunderROARus can make happen right now. Even Carson's had a crazier save than that thus far, and he's not the most chaotic driver out there, so let's see if Carson can try to grab some more valuable points. He is sitting pretty nice in the standings, but every point's going to count for him. Alright, nice. Trying to get technical. Again, throwing in some things we haven't really seen yet in this freestyle competition. This run, I think, is really just going to rely on if he can get a big moment or not, though. So far, he has not. He keeps trying to go in for some technical moves. They're just not the most successful ones yet, but regardless, a great freestyle for Carson Williams. Goes in for one more full send, slaps it down into a slap wheelie. And that's going to do it for Carson Williams. A great run, filled the clock, had just about everything in there. Air, momentum, technical moves. Only thing I think he was kind of lacking on there was wow factor, which is a pretty important thing on this series. So, let's see if that'll be enough. That score to beat is a 9.185 for Krysten Anderson, which is a huge score to beat. That score for Carson Williams and the ThunderROARus is going to be an 8.401. 8.401, currently enough for third place. Alright, only 2 drivers left to go, and they're brothers competing for the series lead coming up. Please welcome Montana Robbins, playing Krazy. So Montana, I mean, he is really becoming one of the best in the business. Same thing with Triton, who is leading the series. They both have taken home the only overalls of the year right now. And right now, they're on track to do it again. It's especially Triton, though. So let's see how things go here. Montana getting started with some technical maneuvers. So again, the importance of showing us things we haven't seen too much of yet here in freestyle. Montana's already getting a nice wow moment in with the one-wheel reverse save. That's something you don't see super often. So nice work there for Montana Robbins. That truck has been looking really bouncy this year, and it's caused some interesting rollovers for Montana. So maybe he can end up with a cool one that could get him some good freestyle points. We'll have to wait and see here. Thus far, nothing too notable for the playing Krazy, but definitely not a bad run either. And he did have that save at the start, one of the better moments freestyle has seen tonight. Oh, looks like he tried to do an unconventional skills challenge approach right there. That was cool. Maybe time for 1 or 2 more hits for the playing Krazy. What can he do? Oh, huge air right there for Montana Robbins. And a big save. That's what we've been needing to see from him as he chases that overall win tonight. Very nicely done by Montana Robbins, throwing it into some cyclones. And an excellent run by the playing Krazy. 75 seconds of momentum. A little bit of chaos, a little bit of technical moves. And guess what? That truck ended up in one piece across all 3 competitions. Didn't even touch the body once. That was great work by Montana. That just goes to show how in control of his truck he is. And that's a great display of driver talent. That score to beat has belonged to Krysten Anderson and Gravedigger for just about this entire competition, which is a 9.185. That score for playing Krazy is... it's a 9.014, so a great score for Montana Robbins. It's going to put him in second place here in freestyle. It's not quite enough for that top spot. On that note, there's only one driver left to go. He's your series season points leader, your current overall points leader on the event, and your first overall event champion of the year. Please welcome Triton Robbins, Krazy Train. Now, Triton also won racing in this event, so he already has a win. Now he's got the chance to double down. Let's see what he can do. Again, Triton's strategy this year is really has just been consistency is key. Don't go out there and do one crazy move. Just put out a nice run, fill the clock, make sure it's not a boring run, and it'll get you good points. And that's been working for him all year in all competitions. That's how he's got so many wins and the season points lead and an overall event championship to his name. This is a great air so far. Oh, that's what we're looking for the Krazy train. Oh my goodness. And a huge save for Triton Robbins. That's what he needs in this overall points chase. A big save like that. Now he's on track to become the freestyle winner tonight. If he can make something else happen in this run. Oh, let's hear it for Triton Robbins. Well, it was a great run while it lasted, but all things must end. Unfortunately, I don't know what happened there on that last move. He didn't really try to save it. He just kind of let it go over. Maybe he was trying to pull off an endo, but unfortunately, all he's going to pull off is a turtled truck and an end of the run. So, all in all, it was a great freestyle run right there. No doubt about that. By Triton Robbins, just didn't end out exactly how you'd want your freestyle run to. So, alright, let's see. Is it going to be enough? That score to beat is a 9.185 from Krysten Anderson and the Gravedigger. Your score for Triton Robbins, Krazy Train, is going to be an 8.051. Not enough, which means your freestyle winner, her first competition win of the year, is Krysten Anderson and the Gravedigger. Now, on that note, we're going to have to take a look at who got the overall win, because Triton's rough luck there to end out freestyle is going to cost him a few points on other drivers. So let's see if he's still going to be doing enough here. Triton Robbins only going to be able to pick up 4 points in freestyle. That's going to put him at 55 on the season. Carson Williams now at 45. Tony Ochs also now at 45. Krysten Anderson's going to move up to 33. Ashley Sanford up to 38. Montana Robbins up to 48. So Montana's now within 7 points of Triton. Has the opportunity to start creeping back up there. Fernando at 29 and Cliff Turner at 21. So Triton Robbins still leading the series by a good margin. Now, wasn't enough for Triton though. He got first in racing, second in skills, fifth in freestyle. That got him 19 points. However, your overall event champion, staying consistent all night long, he got third in racing, won skills, got third in freestyle, and that consistency was enough to win it all. Your overall event champion, Tony Ochs, Earthshaker, getting a total of 20 points. The first driver, I believe, to actually get that many points in one show this year. Very nicely done by Tony Ochs. Edges out Triton Robbins. Triton Robbins now has a bit of a shorter lead than he did before, and some other drivers are starting to advance up towards him once again. Well, fans, on that note, if you're new here, you wouldn't know this, but if this isn't your first time, you should know we're not done yet. We don't end shows here on the channel without a nice, killer encore performance. And as we've been doing all year, this truck has been celebrating a very special 25th birthday this year. And it just so happens that a great driver has been piloting it on this tour. And it just so happens that he's got a truck out there to burn it down with on the track. Please welcome for your encore, Fernando Martinez and the Toro Loco Ice. Fire and Ice, man, that was a great era for Monster Jam. We figured, well, if we're going through the most iconic eras of one of the Monster Jam's best trucks, you can't forget one of the best times of the sport. And he's just going to get right to the chase there. Clears Triton's truck. That's how you kick off an encore. Does it once again. So Fernando, man, if only he could do this kind of stuff in his freestyle runs, he would be doing a lot better in points. But his chassis has just been having so much trouble. This is a different chassis than his regular one. Whoa, what kind of move was that? And why can't he do that in competition? I mean, Fernando would be sitting in the first place position right now if he could do that. in actual competition. This is an awesome encore we're seeing. Fernando Martinez, he is delivering in the El Toro Loco ice. Might be Morgan and Morgan backflip time. He nails it. Nice. It was a little bit bumpy of a ride, but Truck's going to land it regardless. What a weird move that was. He's trying to keep things going here. I believe he just lost rear-wheel drive, but doesn't want this encore to end. This is one of his best things he's done all year. Barrel roll. You gotta be kidding me, Fernando. This is great. Where's this energy in competition, though? Oh, he just... Okay, Crazy Train just fell off the pod. So now Fernando Martinez just owns the place. Oh, yeah, he's definitely gone with rear steer right now. He has no rear steer whatsoever. He's trying to keep this going, though. And all power to him. I mean, this is a big deal, getting to represent a truck like El Toro Loco on its anniversary. This has been around since the earliest days of Monster Jam Stadium competition. Oh, man, he's just throwing this truck at everything. And I think that thing is finally dead. What a great show here in Manchester. I will say, compared to the other shows this tour has done so far, I think this was a little bit lacking in the wow factor department, but I think Fernando just made up for all of that in that awesome encore performance. I really like this track style. I might do a second Manchester show just so we get to see this track again, because it was really fun, and I want to see drivers use it at its full potential, because I feel like a lot of drivers just weren't going 100% tonight. And I mean, poor Fernando Martinez, he had so many rear steering issues. 2 competitions he had rear steering issues. So you could tell he was frustrated in that encore, which made it cool, but you could also tell he was just upset with how his truck was doing tonight. I will say, Triton Robbins is going crazy. He now has an 8-point lead. Coming into the show, he had a 3-point lead. Now it's an 8-point lead. And Montana Robbins, I believe, has now creeped up into second on the series. Sorry, I'm checking that really quick. Yeah, Montana's now in second. The Robbins brothers are unstoppable here. And I think the reason for that is drivers like Tony Ochs, Krysten, Fernando, who have a really high reputation, they're feeling more pressure because they have to live up to their past performances and really go all out. But they're biting off more than they can chew, and it's costing them. Triton and Montana are just trying to stay cool, calm, and collected and consistent, and that's what's making it work for them. Even though Triton had a rough ending to freestyle, he made sure to fill enough time and get enough air to still end up in 5th, which got him good 4 points. And he just made sure to stay so consistent in other competitions that it worked out for him. Tony Ochs, though, finally getting his overall event championship he's been chasing all year, breaks the streak for the Robbins brothers, and he's back on the climb. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll see you all next time.